Speaker for today is Dr. Sister Candy B. Kanha, who is an Associate Professor of English at Andhra Loyola Institute of Engineering and Technology, Vijayawada, AP, India. She holds various academic responsibilities such as the NAC coordinator of the institution, IQAC coordinator of the SNH department. She is the author of three books, namely Keys of Life, 2005, by Efficient Printers, Mumbai. The Fiction Unfolded, Critical Gazes on Indian Woman Novelist in English, 2019, by Authors Press, New Delhi. Ecosophy and Self-Realization in Margaret Atwood's Prose, 2019, by Washington, London. She has edited two volumes on English language and literature in the era of globalization, published by the Authors Press, New Delhi, and four volumes on Eco-Critical Studies, a sponsored book project by Dr. Ken Saldanha, Eastern University of Michigan. She has done a professional course on Shakespeare and his works from Harvard University, verified certificate course April 2020, and got 86% of score. She also completed a course on Masterpieces of World Literature, Harvard University, verified certificate course August 2020, and got 93% of score. She has a number of national and international publications to her credit. She has attended many national and international seminars and workshops and has delivered guest lectures in many reputed institutions. She has also chaired sessions in national and international conferences. He has been honored with an award for all-round proficiency from Hungary in the year 2012. He received the Best Teachers Award, KBN UGC, Women's Studies Center in 2019. He received a certificate of honor for delivering a disquisition on meta-language as part of didactic initiatives at Delhi Literature Expedia in 2018. He received an award of merit. Okay, sorry. Just hold on. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, very sorry about that. She received an award for of merit for distinctive performance in ProAct certificate course on digital teachers from Loyola Institute of Business Management in June 2020. She has won many prizes in elocution, essay writing competitions, and in various singing events. She was awarded the Best Anchor of Vijayawada, Andhra Pradesh by the Commissionerate of Archaeology and Museums, Government of Andhra Pradesh on March 14, 2018. Apart from being a composer, she is also a good singer. She has done her TESOL certificate course from an American institute in 2016. She is a coordinator for various clubs, namely Literary Club, Euphonious Voices Club, etc. She is serving on the editorial board of a very reputed journal such as Conatus Scopus Index Journal, International Students Scopus Index Journal, etc. Dr. Sister Candy is a versatile and a committed sister possessing a strong vision and is deeply convinced of her mission to serve the marginalized. So, respected sister, I would hand over the session to you, sister.
Thank you so much. That was a very, very long introduction. I didn't expect that you would read such a long introduction, but thank you for welcoming and introducing. So thanks to the Law College, Shillong Law College, for organizing this wonderful conference, and especially to Dr. Regin Silves for giving me this opportunity to speak to all the professionals over here. And I do believe that you had very good talks by the other speakers, and you already are enlightened by the research methodology and then how to carry out your research. So I take this opportunity to share my few views with you. So let me share my slide first. So is it visible? Are you able to?
No, sister.
Okay. Are you able to see?
Yes, sister, it's coming.
Okay. I will make it to the full presentation. Can you see the full presentation? I mean full screen?
Can't see the screen.
We cannot see the screen, sister. The screen is not visible.
Screen is not visible. Okay, let me. Screen is not visible. I'll try sharing once again. Try sharing once again. Can you see?
Yes,
Yes, sister, yes.
Yeah, but I want to actually put on the entire screen. Okay, can you see the full screen?
yes, sister.
Can you see?
Yes, sister.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay, so I start my presentation. So I'm Dr. Sister Candy, Associate Professor of English from Andhra Loyola Institute of Engineering and Technology, Andhra Pradesh, Vijayawada. So let me directly plunge into the matter because I was also listening to two presenters and they have elaborated so much on bibliography, citing so many citations and referring to uh, so many citations and then giving reference to so many styles like MLA style, Chicago style, etc. So I would like to make my presentation a little different. And then the last speaker, previous speaker was speaking about instructional design with regard to research. So now I will focus on the basic aspects of research methodology. Once again to tell you how important the research is from my practical viewpoint. So the first question is, what is research methodology? So all of you, if I ask you a question, all of you will answer me more or less the same. Research methodology, it refers to the practical how of the given topic of research. And moreover, it is a systematically designs of study. So we systematically design a study. So to design a study, we should know all about methodology. So what is MLA style, Blue style, APA style, Chicago style? It is nothing but it is how to follow a way to design and make your research a systematic one. So this is what you need to search, you need to analyze the data, you need to go and search the research and explore your best to contribute to the existing knowledge. You just look at the bygone days. This is a simple thing to really understand what is all about research. How the evaluation of wheel came into existence. So it came from a log. So how the log, which was first just used as a log, a man started thinking differently and then he started practically using it for a traveling purpose. And later, he converted that wheel, a round kind of a shape, from a log to a bullock cart, and then a wheel, and then transferred it to a bicycle, and then later we have trucks and cars and etc. So it is nothing but giving a thought to a simple thing where an idea is born, and finally the idea becomes greater, deeper, making meaning and better sense. So research proposal and characteristics of research. So what is a proposal and what are the characteristics? So looking at this invention of a wheel, how it existed. So it is a simple thing. It was born from a log. So there is no systematic documentation available. But if you go back to different ages like Mesopotamian age or different ages, they tried to give a research that it came in this particular civilization and then it was slowly it got a shape. Then it was used for a bronze kind of aspects, bronze kind of models, and then steel, etc. And the wheel was born. But coming to this now, the research which takes a predominant role in entire world, in each and every area, we need to focus on the appropriate context. So text out of context is a pretext. So we need to understand the appropriate context when we take up a research. So some of you on this forum will be research scholars. Some of you already have finished your research and guiding some other researchers. So these are all the basic things. But even though you are a doctorate or doctor or doing your doctorate, or you're a scholar, or you're guiding some student or an encourager, you should always keep in your mind that you need to tell someone to stick on to the present context of the research. So research is nothing but giving importance to the problems existing and exploring the appropriate solution, required solution for the research. Now, if you look at this word cloud and try to see the methodology point of view, you will find so many synonyms over here. So methodology is nothing but development, knowledge, strategy, process, techniques, method, etc. So I am going to focus on MLA style. So this conference is all about research methodology using MLA style, APA style, etc. So I am going to speak a few things about MLA style and how important they are. So firstly, to tell you, this MLA handbook is available in Google. If you try to Google MLA handbook, the latest handbook, 9th edition, which was published in 2021, you will find the entire copy of this MLA handbook. So may I request all of you to download this copy and keep it for your resource. So how the text formatting is done in this MLA style. So all of us know, I mean, all those who are into research will know that we follow mainly Time New Romans. So it is one of the examples, but certain documents also have other styles. But mainly we follow Time New Romans. We follow 12 for the format and maybe 14 for the headlines. Here, when we come to the justification, we do not justify the lines of the text at the right margin. Recently, I was adjudicating a thesis from Annamalai University, and I saw that the scholar has not justified, because when I did my doctorate, I followed 7th edition, 8th edition. And then in that, 7th edition, in that it was not given that the right line should be justified. So we were accepted to submit our thesis without even justifying the right margin. But the latest thing says that we should not justify the right margin, and we should turn off the automatic hyphenation features of your word processing program. And we should unnecessarily see that the words are not divided and the words do not have a hyphen at the end and the half word coming to the next line. I will show you a model of this. So this was a thesis which I adjudicated. And over here, you can see that at the right hand, there is no justification.
Excuse me, sister.
Yes,
Sorry to disturb you. The slide is not moving, sister.
slides are not moving.
No,
But
sister.
I can see that they are moving.
I think you have to refresh the screen, sister. It's not moving.
Okay, I will share again. I don't know what happened to this.
There, it's coming, sister, now.
It's coming?
Yes, sister. Thank
Okay,
you.
okay. Okay, can you see?
Yes, sister.
Hello?
That slide. Yes, sister. It's visible.
Okay. So this is from Annamalai University, and I was telling you that do not justify the lines of the text at the right margin. Still, scholars are making the same error. They are justifying both the sides, left side and right side. Please take note of this, that MLA 9th edition says very clearly that do not justify the lines of the text at the right margin. So you should leave 1 inch from the top of the page for writing your name and then writing the name of your instructor, and keep everything in the double space for the title. So I'll show you a model, and then you have to also leave double space. So this also, the cover page of the thesis appears like this. So you need to leave 1 inch, and then side also you need to leave inch, and then you should give enough spacing as per MLA style. And then if you see over here for the paper research, here also you have ½ inch.
Excuse me, sister. The slide is not moving again.
Why it is happening like this? Okay, can you see?
Yes, sister.
Okay,
Um,
can you see the slide?
yes, sister. Now it's moving.
Okay. So you need to give a space, even for the research paper, you need to see that you give a correct space. So this is very important, and it is mentioned very clearly in MLA style. Now coming to the internal headlines and sub-headlines, you have to be very careful, because I have seen many of the scholars use headline. And sometimes when they are using headlines and sub-headlines, they overuse the same headline again and again. So if you try to overuse the headline again and again, your thesis becomes really boring. And you should never use to compensate a poor structure by overusing the headline. So this is to be taken note of. And then we should be consistency in styling of the headlines and the sub-headlines. So even when you place the headlines in your thesis, leave alone the title part of it, and then writing your title and all that. But coming to the chapterization, and the internal headlines and the sub-headlines should not be repeated. Coming to the review of literature, I think all of you know that these are the actually starting points of MLA style, which I am trying to remind you over and again, so that you will try to understand how some of the points have changed. So what is this review of literature all about? So review of literature is all about the surveys. So why do we have review of literature? We do review of literature for four reasons mainly: to survey what is existing about your topic, to synthesize the information, to see how your information is there again, or it is a repetition, or you are bringing something new, or how you are synthesizing that. You're critically analyzing and gathering to identify the gaps with regard to the raised hypothesis you have about your research, and then to present the literature in an organized way. So review of literature is very, very important as you move about with your research. Why is the review of literature important? The review of literature is important because it shows your readers the gaps, that is in-depth gaps, and how your research fits into and adds an existing body of a great knowledge. So it adds to an existing body of a great knowledge. So there is knowledge existing in the society, and you are adding to the existing knowledge. So your research is something different. You try to do a research review to bring to the mind of the readers, or to whom you are going to present, or to the academia, that your research is different. This is something new I am presenting from my viewpoint, and this is a research which is already existing. So what is research design? So research design is nothing but methods. And you have descriptive method, correlative method, imperative method, etc. And again, research design has a technique, the way and the means to carry out. And for the technique, again, we have tools. So what are those tools? Nothing but systematic, objective, and scientific tools. So in order to carry your research journey successfully, you need to understand the methods, techniques, and tools. So you need to jot down what kind of method you are going to apply for your research. And is it a descriptive method? Is it a correlative method? Is it an imperative method, etc.? And what is the technique you are going to apply? And then the tools you are going to apply for meeting those objectives and hypotheses of your research. So when you look at this tool, which is very important from a broader viewpoint, you can see science has observation and experiment. Are you able to see my screen?
Sister, it's stuck again, the screen. Can you
Oh, I
please
don't know.
look into it?
Can you see?
Yes, sister. When you move it, it's moving, but
Okay, I'm not going to view it. I'm not going to put it in the full mode. So let me see.
okay.
So science has two aspects. One is observation and experiment. And these are the basic tools to understand what science is all about. But when we come to the tools and materials which all of us use for research, we also bank on the manuscript in cursive writings, manuscripts in printed form. So when you look at manuscripts in cursive writing, manuscript in printed form, you see that the editors are very important. So the first professor was telling us all about citations, right? He was telling how to cite different citations with single editor, with double editors and all that. So if you want to genuinely cite your citations, you should identify who is the editor, who is the author, even of the manuscript, even of the printed form. Then we have polemical articles. So these articles, they don't bear the name of any author and they don't have anything. So these sometimes can be misleading. Sometimes the printed editions can be forged. So we have to be very, very careful, extremely careful when you find polemical articles. So you should make sure that the article has author, or you need to at least genuinely cite from where you are, where you got that resource from, etc. Then even paper and ink, what kind of paper the article has, you can identify. Sometimes it's very old paper, sometimes it's a dusty paper, sometimes it is a paper from the library, sometimes it is, different kinds of papers are available, and based on the paper you can even identify the source from where it has come. And even the ink, so even the research is going on, especially when you take law college will be able to tell us very well how they are able to find out these crimes and all that, sometimes through writing, a calligraphic style. So these and all play a predominant role even to identify criminals, etc. So paper is very important, ink is very important, even to acknowledge from where it is, if it comes to manuscripts or cursive writing. Now, coming to illustrations, tables and illustrations, we can see sometimes in some research, people do use them. Maybe in literature, we very seldom use tables and illustrations. But when you carry out a research which has a sample, you try to present that sample in a form of an illustration or a table. So you have to be very careful with the labels. You have to be careful with the separate headlines, with the capitalization, with the lowercase letters, double space, etc. So here is an example which is given in MLA style book about this table. So you look at the headline, you look at the year, it is there just in the starting pages of MLA style. So they have given a demonstration on how to use this table in your research paper or even in your research project. Then they have also given a photograph of this research paper where the picture can be captured. So we have to be very careful. We need to cite the picture from where it is, and we need to give the bibliographical details of a picture. So the chart should be labeled, and it should have a drawing or graph, and it should be very much visible. So from where you are taking, which source you are taking, it is very important to cite it authentically. So this is another picture given in the MLA handbook, and this is also, you have to make note of it, how well they have cited. So make use of even pictorial citations by giving the figure number, by giving the year of the citation, from where it is. So Edward Topsell. So this is the citation, maybe the research was carried out on this, and the work cited, it is also mentioned the name of the author and then the year of publication, etc. Even the musical notes, if you are taking a musical notes from any book, so from where it is taken, so these kind of things are also brought to light in MLA handbook. Then coming to the other tools are bibliography, note system, note making, and note taking. So what is this? 4 kinds of bibliography we have. So you have just now seen the bibliography, like, organizing the bibliography year-wise and all that. But I'm not going to talk about organizing the bibliography, but I'm going to give you What exactly is this historical bibliography, bibliotheca, then enumerative research and practical bibliography, enumerative research and practical bibliography. So over here we have historical bibliography. So what is this historical bibliography? So in historical bibliography, books are found in printing, binding, and publication. So you look at this particular page, how old it is, how rugged it is. So based on the historical appearance, based on the manuscript, how it is presented, we can identify this source and we can cite it. And then the next one, I think it is on the typewriter. We had those typewriters in the past, old one. So how it is cited, how to cite this, these kind of historical bibliographies. Second one, we have bibliotheca. So it is nothing but a location of books in the library. So when you go to the library and refer the books, every book, every shelf has a set of books which belongs to that particular category. So categorization of the books, classification of the books, how they are arranged, how they are organized. So I do remember the lecture when I was attending my pre-PhD classes by one of the eminent professors of Krishna University, where I did my research on Margaret Atwood. So they highlighted very well on these cards and all which are available in the library. And then so enthusiastically, I was all the more curious. I wanted to see how these cards are available in the library, because many of our libraries do not have this card system unless and until they are very huge libraries, just like JNU Library or Osmania University Library, which has American Center and Canadian Center for Studies. Otherwise, Indo-Canadian Library, which is existing Shastri Institute of Canadian Studies in New Delhi, etc. These libraries have these kind of arrangements. So they have a card system. So they open a kind of rack and there will be all the arrangements of cards. And then you can pick up which the writer you're searching for according to a card. And that card will only direct you towards a book. So now people are going digitally. They are making so many arrangements. But this kind of methodology existed in the past. And we were made aware of it in our research classes. So you should identify. So it is called as bibliotheca. So location of books where it is available. Now people are going for online books. A lot of online books are coming, and then we have NDL library, which is a digital library of entire India, and many books are available. And recently I saw on the Telegram group, there is a Telegram group where there is Abdul Kalam's research library, and so many books are posted every day in that library. So I see very seldom the scholars are going to the library. They are referring to the notes, very dedicatedly reading and all that, because nowadays everything is available online. But I enjoyed really going around, spending time in the library, taking a hard copy of a book, collecting the relevant material for my research, and then trying to carry out my research. So that was something very different, and it was all amazing, etc. So coming to the enumerative research. So what is it all about? So it is all about, again, classifying the books, having a kind of an approach to classify the books in a sequential order. So top-down approach where you can see the books are arranged in a series manner. And then the last one is practical bibliography. So this practical bibliography is the works of students and authors dealing with practical issues. So all those are available. They come under the headline of practical bibliography. So how it is to be cited, all those, I think just now the first speaker has covered very beautifully how we have to cite all this. And it is given in MLA handbook, 9th edition. And sir has also given you an enlightening session for Chicago style and all the other styles which are existing. And I would suggest once again, remind you to download that MLA style, which is free, and keep it on your desktop or keep it in your Gmail for the future reference. Coming to note system, just this is the last slide, and then I would like to speak to you with some of my experiences. So note system is very, very important. Why is note system important? So we need to jot down the points. So now you are listening to a lecture. There will be some PhD scholars listening to this lecture, or you have listened to the last lectures, you note it down, you write the date, you write the time it was spoken, and it becomes again a resource for you. So note taking is very important. Note taking is important because it is authentic. So when I was doing my research on Margaret Atwood, I actually attended a Jaipur festival, and which was online, and then I jotted down a few points spoken by Atwood, and then I took it as a source to incorporate those ideas into my research. So taking note is very important because they can be very authentic, provided you cite exactly who is the speaker, when it is spoken, what forum it is spoken, what time it was spoken, what context it was spoken, etc. Now, with this short presentation about a small research journey, I would just come back to you, asking you your opinion, your ideas, or clarifications if you would like to make with regard to the presentation I have made, or you can ask me some of the questions. I will answer to you, and I will also share my research experience with some of my scholars, some of my students, and the experiences what I am having about research in my day-to-day life. So any questions?
Good one, Kaman.
Okay, so before you could ask questions, I will share with you certain things. I don't know how many of the doctoral people are over here. I mean, those who are pursuing your PhD on this forum, or already people are doctorates on this forum. I do not know, or people are research scholars. But I'll share with you some of my experiences. So when I was doing my research, I maintained a book, something like this, a bibliography, a book. I wrote on it a bibliography. So what I used to do is I wrote A to Z, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, each page. I gave a letterization with a letter, and uh, I started citing, like, referring. I gave citations like this. So when it came to letter W, the books what I have referred with W, I jotted down like this in a book, because sometimes you don't have a computer, sometimes you forget. So I used to carry this book everywhere throughout my research. So when I saw something new, I used to also take it down in the computer, and some of the sources which is difficult, I used to cite like this. So this kind of idea really helped me for my research. So the scholars over here on this group, I would suggest, please maintain a bibliography. So this was told by our professors when we were doing our research. Then secondly, maintain a book, your progress book. So I also maintain a progress book. Like every day, what progress I carried out in the light of my research. So I started my research journey, and then every day what I did about my research, I used to jot down in a very uh, brief manner. So I am aware I had that link of my research. I never forgot, because every day I wrote what exactly I did. I used to spend time on my research, and I was able to complete my research within 3.5 years. So 3.5 years or so. Yeah, 3.5 years, 4 years. Yeah, with all that. By the time I got my doctorate, it was 4 years or so. So I completed it very soon, and I was the first in my batch to submit my research. So no exaggerations. If you don't give gaps, if you try to continuously do your research, if you follow up and note down what you have done, systematically, sequentially, you will finish your research. Thirdly, I kept my notes, all the pre-PhD notes. So we had research classes. So all those notes I kept as a treasure. Even today, 2013 branch, even today I take it as a treasure. Even I refer to these notes to deliver this lecture. So these simple things, but the simple things will make you great. We need not do great things to become great, but simple things will make us great. So do every day. What are small things? So research is not like you sit for 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours. I heard one of the scholars speaking to me. See, I have to do my research. I need to sit for 8 hours. I need to sit for 10 hours. Then only I'll be able to complete. But it's not that. Research is you need to continuously work every day, 1 hour or 2 hours or 3 hours or so. You need to work consistently every day, a little by little, because little drops of water can only make an ocean. So suddenly you cannot say that I want to push a huge mountain and push a mountain. So it will not take place. We need to put a little efforts. So that's the reason why I told you what is all research about. Why this methodology? Why do we follow methodology for research? So you need to understand what is your style. You need to understand what kind of research you are going to do. If you are guiding your scholar, you should try to you should try to guide your scholar in this regard, what your scholar would like to do or what is his or her area of interest, and exactly proceed. Then research becomes very authentic. It becomes something very innovative. It becomes something very creative and new, which nobody has done. So if you want to contribute to the existing knowledge, we need to follow these kind of techniques. So my dear eminent professors, research scholars, if you have any queries, any questions to be asked, you are most welcome.
Thank you, really. Thank you, sister, for
Yes.
this resource that you have shared with us. Thank you very much for these practical tips that you have offered to us. But as a teacher, I have actually certain doubts. Could I express those?
Yes, you can very well. You can very
Sister,
well express.
yeah. Could you please tell us how to manage time? That is the most important thing, because
Okay.
as a teacher, we have to do preparation for
Okay.
teaching, and amidst all those, find time for research work.
Yeah.
It is sometimes a gargantuan task. I hope you can understand. So,
Yes.
how could you do? I'm sure that you are also a person engaged in so many activities. So, how do you find time for all this,
Yes.
sister?
I will give you a sincere answer, but I hope you will take it in a correct manner. I'll tell you exactly what I did.
Thank you.
So actually, I was also working at PB Siddhartha College of Arts and Science. I was teaching MA English when I was doing my research, and I was the youngest person in the department. So what I had is I was given all the invigilations. Always I was given 3 hours duty invigilation. So invigilation for MA students means you give them a booklet. You give them a booklet and you make them write. So I didn't carry any material and all in the class when I'm doing my invigilation, but I read. I used to read. I used to read at home some stuff I was doing on Margaret Atwood, and my topic was very new. My topic was all about ecosophical concerns and self-realization in Margaret Atwood's works. So it was a very new emerging topic, applying eco-philosophy to Atwood's novels and weaving them from Indian perspective. So I need to explore a lot of areas. So what I used to do is I used to read the theoretical part of it at home. I used to sometimes read Atwood also. And when I go for exam, I'm doing invigilation. I used to occupy my mind in thinking how it has to be carried out. Of course, I used to pray. I used to think how my research is to be carried out. And that was the best time I utilized. See, it was a time like, 3 hours you stand. But I used to think, I used to have a small paper, I used to jot down. So that 3 hours uh, I utilized very well. And then I come from the invigilation. I used to find time where I used to put everything in typing, and that is the way I was able to continuously finish. I finished it without any problem. I tell you, many teachers, many scholars ask me this question. You're a sister. In fact, I have adopted 5 villages, and I have a lot of works in the institution, and at PB Siddhartha also I did do so many works. And here in my institution, even I am an ACT coordinator, but I write my research papers. I do my cooking, cleaning, all those my duties at home as a secular sister. And then I have adopted some villages. Whatever I could do, I do. And then my prayers and all that. I never see. First of all, time management. You need to set time for exactly for what it is to be set. Everything has a time, right? So you need to set a time. Once you set a time, you follow the time. And if you feel that this time you can make utilize of this time in a different manner, creatively think about it and try to utilize it. See, invigilation for 3 hours, and they are MA students. You give them a booklet, they continuously write. What will you do? 3 hours, stand and look at their face. So what I used to do, I used to think. I am standing there, hardly 20 students in the class. So I used to think what I read about and jot down 2 or 3 points. That's it. Once the duty is over, I come and put it in my laptop. So I never lost that grip, like, it was continued. It was going on in my mind. So that's why I told you I will speak very sincerely and I will tell you the truth. Are you satisfied with my answer?
Yes, sister. Thank you so much.
Yes. Say, where there is a will, there is a way. Where there is a will, there is a way. If you say we are teachers, we are bogged down with so many difficulties, or we have a lot of syllabus, we cannot continue, we cannot complete. See, there is a way. If you find time, you have time. But you have to see that there is time. See, morning hours or evening hours. You need to find everyday time for your research. If you have that guts and willpower, I tell you, definitely you will finish your research. It's not difficult at all, because research is your area. You should enthusiastically do. And I can tell you, my guide, Dr. Suvarna Lakshmi, from she's a professor in FLU. She's my guide. So FLU, all of you know, Institute for it's a foreign language, right? FLU Hyderabad. So she was my guide. Then every time she used to tell me, sister, I see you very enthusiastic. So you have to be enthusiastic with the topic you have chosen. It is your research and it is not somebody else's research. You need to be very vibrant. You need to tell about your writer. Oh, Margaret Atwood, I am doing about Atwood. Then that zeal and enthusiasm will give you a kind of an encouragement to finish it on time. But if you say, this is my writer, I don't know, it is so much, how will I carry out? You need to be always innovative, thinking, talking to right people, exploring the area. So Canadian, I found out there is a Shastri Institute of Canadian Studies. And then all the way I went to Delhi and I found out where is that Shastri Institute of Canadian Studies, got a membership and I did my research. So what I'm speaking is practical. I bank on practicality because I did something which is very authentic. I have no problem to tell the truth. So truth will set you free. The great philosophers have said, right? So this is what, in research, there is always a logic. So we need to apply the logic even in carrying out the research. So if you stop and say, I have no time, then that itself is, making the whole problem. So that's it. Anybody else? Anything else? So I thank Shillong Law College for giving me this opportunity. A wonderful opportunity to share my ideas. Someone is speaking.
Yes, myself, Gurnander from Punjabi University, Kerala, Department of Social Work.
Okay.
Thanks. You have noted all the things. We have to nurture our child. We have to nurture our research. This feeling you have built in us. Thanks for your deliberations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening and taking these few tips from me. And I think that this in fact has inspired you, and you will inspire many more people in your life. So carry out enthusiastically and you see the difference. So it is nothing like saying I cannot. You can. It's all possible.
Basically, most of the research scholars start enthusiastically, but later on they drop the ideas. They start stagnating. But the way you have deliberated it always convey we must
Okay.
from first to last time we have to start. We have to make up same thing. Thanks
Yes.
for your delegation, ma'am.
Yes.
Thanks.
Sure. God bless you abundantly.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. God bless you. So over to organizers. Anybody
Yeah,
want to
excellent, sister from Shillong local once again. Excellent.
Thank you. Who is, please may I know who is speaking?
Myself, Sharifuddin, I am the principal of Shillong Law College.
Oh, sir, thank you so much. I'm grateful to you for giving me your blessings and voicing it out.
Special thanks for you, ma'am.
Thank you, and your participants are very good. I very much appreciate these participants. They are very attentive, and throughout they were listening, and they were bearing with me when my slides were not moving. So I thank the organizers. I thank principal of the law college for giving me this opportunity, and also the management, our management of Andhra Loyola College, for encouraging me, especially Dr. Father Francis Xavier, for allowing me to participate in this conference. Thank you so much. So organize like this conference, and let it be a living experience. Let it be living experience for many more, and let us bring changes in our own little ways. So finally, the entire world will become a better place. Thank you.
Okay, sister, there's one question from the chat box
Okay.
from Muhammad Azam.
Okay.
So, should the bibliography be arranged alphabetically? Is it compulsory?
Yeah, now MLS style says now we have to organize it alphabetically. MLS style says that, right? It's the recorded bibliography. Unless and until now, you have to say primary sources, secondary sources, but alphabetically we organized it alphabetically. And this is a recent thesis which I adjudicated from Annamala University, and I found over here also the bibliography is alphabetically organized. So you have to organize, and see there is something called EasyBib. You type in the internet, there is something called EasyBib, EASYBIB. So if you put your bibliography into that, it itself will give you an organizing kind of thing. That's it. Simple.
Okay, thank you so much, sister,
Yes.
for your profound and effective presentation.
Thank you.
The illustrations were very interesting, very practical, and very easy to understand, I feel.
Thank you so much.
It was very knowledgeable, and you have said it in a very brilliant way.
Thank you. But
And
the thing is,
I also want to thank you for sharing your personal experience. It was a very honest presentation, if I may say so.
thank you.
Okay, I think there's no more questions from the participants. So we have come to the end of today's session. Sister, would you like to say anything else?
See, I thank you for beautifully, as an organizer, you beautifully did it, because I have been observing you. You did comparing very well. And then I thank your principal and all the participants, very active and dynamic participant and very obedient participants, I feel. They are very good. And I thank Dr. R.S. Regin Silves for giving me this opportunity. I think some other speaker was asked to speak, but there was, I think that speaker didn't turn up, and then I was asked to speak. So it was a last minute presentation. I just prepared it this morning. I thought, why to go by all those dogmas and theories and all that? Let me make it very much practical. So that is what I could present before you. And I thank my director, Father Francis, because I showed him the slides and he said, you go ahead with the presentation. So even that I acknowledge. I acknowledge all those who have encouraged me to share with this knowledge of mine with you. So thank you so much, and God bless you abundantly. Thank you.